Hello, Aaron. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Fantastic. As per your request, yeah, let's go through the presentation of our project, if that's okay. And if you're okay with that, I'm going to go through the presentation as quickly as possible. And then at the end, if you have some questions, I think it's better to do the questions at the end because some of the answers can be given throughout the conversation. Yeah? Is that
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you.
fantastic? What we're going to do is to present our project. When I say our, well, it's Owen, the designer, the CEO, the founder of the company, which is TICN. He is the main guy. Owen learned this at a Tony Robbins event back in 1996. This photograph was taken in Dublin when Tony came. I think it was 2017. And I'm very proud to say that I was the person who wrote the letter that made Tony take the action to come to Ireland. So I'm very, very proud of that. Yeah. As I was saying, Owen learned the skills that now both of us teach at a Tony Robbins event. Ever since he learned, Owen, with Tony, he's opened more than 1,000 clubs, over 50 countries in 15 languages. He's an international speaker, has written 7 books, and has 25 years plus experience in shares and options in the stock market. As for myself, I'm the CEO and founder of TIC in Spain, international speaker as well. I host the Empower Supernova podcast. I have several topics there, all under the empowerment topic. I contribute periodically to some magazines. I have written more than 10 books. I have more than 10 years of experience in the stock market right now, and I teach both in English and Spanish. We're going to talk about the wealth generation in the stock market, which is our expertise to create money, to create wealth in the stock market. For that, we use a system, which we call the 4x4 system. I'm going to start here by the end. And the end is, what are the results that we have? I'm going to explain to you how this is set up. This table has been updated as of the 10th of January. The SP 500, which is an index that tracks 500 companies of all industries in the US, is an indicator of what the stock market is doing as a whole. Yeah. So we have these numbers here. The type of accounts that we have are different. You see here that there are clubs, there are consortiums, there are corporate accounts, there are some personal accounts, and we have an example of our retirement account. They all work differently, but the system that we apply is exactly the same. This is a random pool of accounts. We have some others as well. Well, many others, right? This is the number of the accounts. We don't give the full number for confidentiality. The day that they started, the months that they've been trading with us, the total amount invested, the account value as of the day that the table was put together. Look, here in blue is all the calculations having to do with the average invested. Because if you look down here, and down here, you will see that there's only one account, as far as I remember, I'm talking from memory, that had the whole money for the whole time. In every other account, the money has been added to the account in a drip feed basis, which means that not all the money has been there working hard for us. It was only some time. So in the first account, just to see an example, even though the amount invested was 315,000, the amount that was there for the whole time was only 152. Okay. What's the profit on the average invested, considering the final account value? Well, it's here. Yeah. The profit is how much has it grown from 152 to 373. Percentage-wise, dividing one by the other, and then dividing by the number of months, we have the average per month. We also accounted here for the SP 500, the first day that we started trading, and the growth. because the last trading is for all accounts except for one, and that's marked there. It was this one, right? So we see the growth and the percentage growth. So we can see here that the percentage profit on the average invested is 106 over the time span of the life of each one of the accounts all put together, okay? In the same time, the SP only grew on average 10%. So we have beaten the SP by 96%. The average of our accounts is 4.4. Not all of them have the same growth. It depends on what's behind when the money was put there, or for how long the account has had less than 25,000. Many things depend on this, but you can see that on average, the accounts have grown 4.4% a month. I've made a little summary here with the previous slide. And I've divided it by the different types of accounts: clubs, consortiums, corporate accounts, and personal accounts. And we can see the average is 4.4. We should take into consideration that last year, 2022, from 1st of January to the end of the year, the S&P 500, the market as a whole, went down 19.4%. And the Nasdaq went down 33.1%. So these are the numbers that we are managing here. And as you can see, we know how to make money even in down markets, because in up markets, it's easier. Let's imagine that you invest 1,000 of your own currency, whatever it is. And just to be more conservative, let's imagine that we grow this account at 4% a month. So 4,000 a month. Imagine that a baby is born now, 4,000 a month. You put into this baby's account on year one, 1,000 of your currency. When the baby is 5, the account is going to be worth 10,000. After 10 years, 110. After 15 years, this is very interesting, 1 million. And at 20, 12 million. Yeah. So as you can see, every 5 years, we add a zero. Even if instead of 5 years, it takes 7 years, I think it's very, very worthy still. Yeah. Let's talk about the 4x4 system now. If you want to get the results that somebody out there has got already, copy what they've done. Just what did I do? I'm going to do it myself. We are very, very passionate fans of Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett has a company called Berkshire Hathaway, is in the 10 companies, the biggest companies for market capitalization in the world. And if you see here his personal worth, he started at age 11. He told us the story at one of the AGMs, annual general meeting of the shareholders, because we're shareholders of this company. And he told us the story how he started investing when he was 11. And ever since, he's been in the market. It took him many years to become a millionaire. Then not so many years to become a billionaire with a B. The numbers that you see here, they are all billions. This is all in the billions. And what we've learned from him is that, among many other things, is that when things go south, he just stays there. He doesn't lose the nerve. Why? Because he invests in very strong companies, and he knows that long term, the stock market always goes up. It goes up and down, up and down, up and down, but the trend is always up all the time. So we just copy what he does. Yeah. He also said, my wealth has come from a combination of living in America, in the US, some lucky genes. He said in a program that I watched that he was lucky enough to be a white male in the US. However, we can copy him, whatever color we have, whatever sex we have. Yeah. And also compound interest. Compound interest is the interest on the interest, and that is where we are so good at, to get interest work for us. In this little video here, we can watch.
You'll soon see whether it kind of falls into place or not. John? Yeah, I think the set of numbers, the one set of numbers in America that are the best quick guide to measuring one business against another are the value line numbers. I'd agree with that. I can't imagine anybody being in the investment business involving common stocks without that thing on the shelf.
So Warren and Charlie Munger are talking here about Value Line. Value Line is a company that we work with, and it's how we measure the quality of a company. Our system, our 4x4 system, is a system in 3 steps. What do? I'll let you know now. First thing is we find the best quality companies in the world. We'll tell you later how we choose them. We want these very high quality companies to have the best price. We want them to be cheap. And then we collect an income from them. We call it a rent, because rent is something that we can very easily think about. So how does this work? In terms that we understand, like property, and let's bear in mind what Warren always tells us, which is that in the stock market, the trend is always up. To put it into terms that we understand very well, like the property business, let's see what this high quality, best price and getting a rent means. Let's imagine that we buy a fantastic property, very high quality, yeah, and we treat it like an asset. What do assets do? Assets put money in our pockets. With the money that we get from this asset, we go out there and we get other assets. We buy more shares, we buy more property. And that property, because those properties, because they are assets as well, they're going to put money in our pockets again. And with that money, we'll buy more assets. Let's see now what the steps 1 and 2 are. They are quality and price, as we said. Remember, the third step is getting a rent. But first, let's go with steps number 1 and number 2. For that, we use Value Line that we have briefly introduced already. Value Line is a company that produces reports out of the universe of stocks out there, and there are many that we can choose from. We choose Value Line that produces reports on 6,000. Out of those 6,000, 1,700 are very detailed. There's a lot of information there. We focus on this one. That way, we are already filtering through the companies. Yeah? Applying our system, we then check what the quality of the stocks are. And out of that scrutiny, we only get like 1%. Then we study the price as well. So it's good quality, remember, good price. And now we're dealing with about 100. Yeah, that's 0.1%. When we study the company, we study several parameters that we can see here. And even if you don't know exactly what they mean, don't worry, because we teach all this. Each one of these parameters is going to give us a figure, right? And with those figures, we come eventually with a total score. If the total score is somewhere between 40 and 52, we give this company the score of 4, the final score, which is the maximum that we can get. And therefore, this company would be stamped with the 4 for quality score. That would be the highest that we can get. Yeah, those parameters are the industry rank. Yeah, what's the potential for it to grow? How fast is it going to go comparing with other stocks? How safe is their pockets? How big they are? How deep? The debt compared to the amount of money that the company is worth, the volatility against the stock market, the growth trends, the future, and the past, and how it has been, the in sales and earnings, and then how are the management managing the company. Then we analyze the price, because we want high quality and a good price. To analyze the price, same thing. We assign certain value depending on the score that the company gets when analyzing these different parameters here. The dividend payment policy that they have, how much the share price is going to grow in the next years, what are the sales and profits going to do in the future, and what they have done in the past, what's the price divided by the profits ratio, and what's the risk to reward ratio. Again, if you don't know what this means, don't worry. I didn't have a clue. I didn't even speak the language, but everything is learnable. We teach it. We score the price, and if we get somewhere between 40 and 52 of the total score, then we give the company a stamp of 4 for price, which is the highest you can get. Where do you get this information? Well, you can subscribe to the tools in the TICN tools. Among other tools, we can see the TICN research sheet here. And that's where we publish all the companies that we have ever found to be 4x4. And we keep those companies on that list forever and ever. The only reason why they could disappear is because they have been bought out by other companies. Which happens because if they are good quality companies and they are a good price, and then it goes up, other companies will buy them. Here, the second arrow, you can see the access to value line. This is the TICN research sheet. So we have about 100 companies here. And you can see the quality and the price scores there and the total score. Once the stock gets into this list, it doesn't drop. We keep it here forever and ever. So you can do your due diligence and trace these companies back to the past and see how they've done. What is a value line report? What do they look like? They look something like this. I put Disney here because everybody knows Disney pretty much, yeah? But that doesn't mean we're telling you to buy it or anything like that. We just teach people. We don't tell them to do one thing or another. It's up to our members to buy whatever they want, yeah? I'm going to split it in two so that you can see it a bit closer. Anyone looking at this would say, oh my God, I have no clue. I don't understand what each one of these parameters is. It's too many numbers. I'm not good with numbers. I don't have a background in anything to do with banking or anything like that. I don't speak the language. I'm too old, I'm too young, whatever it is. I've heard it all, most of the time coming from my own mind. So I know. However, we teach you in a way that's so simple, so simple. This could be the bottom. And as you can see, most of it is numbers. So numbers, you don't need to understand the language because you can see a number there, just the headlines. And we teach you what they mean in a way that's very easy to follow. Very, very, very easy to follow. The 4x4 companies that we found over these last years, how have they grown compared with the stock market? Well, just on a buy and hold basis, and let me tell you what that is. So far, we've seen quality and price. If you see a company that's good in quality and you see that it's at a nice price, that is cheap, you can say, okay, I'm buying it now. I'm buying it and I'm keeping the air forever, that company, just like Warren Buffett does. He buys, he hardly ever sells, right? If we do that with our 4x4 companies, and this is just the day that they were found as 4x4, let's imagine that we buy a bunch of them. How have they performed with respect to the SP 500? Well, as we can see here, up until the end of 2021, the 4x4 companies have done a better job in growing by 5.6 times with respect to the SP 500. It makes sense because 500 companies do what they do. But if we get the best ones out of those 500, then obviously the performance is going to be better. I mean, no secret there. What we're looking at here is what happens year on year. Okay, so from one year to the next, what has happened? From 2000 to 2003, the SP 500 companies went from here to here. However, the 4x4s that we had there went up all this time. So we can see that in general, when, except for one point here, every other time when the SP 500, when all the companies go down, our companies go down, but less. when the shares in general, the SP 500 goes up, our companies rebounds much more. Why? Because they're stronger, so they can do it. Step number 3, getting the rent. Remember? How do we do that? Well, as we said, first quality, then price, we buy shares. We buy these shares and then we buy them in the stock market in New York that has been working since the 18th century. And when we have shares, when we have our assets, our property, we rent them. Remember? That translated into the vocabulary that you are going to get more used to, that would be selling options. The selling options is the getting the rent, so to speak, and that's money, that's cash in our pocket. What do we do with that? We buy more shares, we buy more assets, more property. Because we have more shares, we can sell more options, and well, you get the idea. And because we're getting interest on the interest, which is making money out of selling options, yeah, that's compound interest. Where do we sell the options? In the CBO mainly. Yeah, since 1973 has been working. We just place the trades in the computer and the computer knows. How do we make money? Like Warren Buffett, by buying and holding, we get price appreciation, which is the shares going up. Yeah, they will go up and down all the time, but the trend, again, we want shares that go up. Some of these shares are going to pay dividends, which is complete passive income. They automatically go into your account. However, because we also get rent from our shares, we're going to get 2 other incomes, which is options. The options are called call and put. Bear in mind that this is the way that we get what we call rent. Now, because this presentation has been thought of and put together precisely for consortiums, let me go into them more deeply. How do they work? We can have an unlimited number of members. Each member can contribute, well, with whatever the minimum is, has been established by the club itself or by the consortium, so they can invest as much money as they want, provided they cover the minimum, with the frequency that they want. We encourage our members to take the education, which is available online. And the relationship that we have with the consortiums is forever and ever. What can you expect from belonging to a consortium? Before the meeting, you can attend a meeting, even though you are not a member yet. You can be a fly on the wall, seeing how everything goes. That is, if the consortium is happy to do so, because it's a collection of people and they can have their own rules. In other consortiums, you are more than welcome to attend. Before the meeting, we're going to send the WhatsApp group that the consortium has, the percentage shareholding that each member has, but with a code, so that is private and confidential. Yeah, maybe a dashboard, probably a dashboard as well before the meeting. And we would also send some ideas, some proposals for the members to look into, to discuss. So when we go to a meeting, at least everybody has seen those proposals. But again, those proposals are sent there because we teach what we do, but the consortium has the last word and they would vote on them. Yeah? If they're happy, otherwise they won't go through them, and that's okay. What's the day-to-day? As I was saying before, there would be a WhatsApp group, and in that WhatsApp group, there would be information about when is the next meeting, and there will be a link provided there. The recordings of the sessions will be posted in this WhatsApp group so that whoever hasn't attended a meeting can do it afterwards. And again, some information for you to learn could be posted there. It could be videos that we have that are for free. It could be links to get information about the online modules that we have. There could be some stuff there. Yeah. During the meeting, what do? We record the session. They will be in Zoom. Yeah. And we would go through the proposals that have been posted before, and the members could vote what they want to do with them. Yeah, it's a democratic decision. It would be the people attending the meeting live that could vote. Yeah, sometimes they say, okay, I'm okay with all the proposals. I cannot attend the meeting, but I'm okay with them all. Or I'm okay with the 3 first ones and not okay with the last one. That's okay. Everything would be recorded in the WhatsApp chat. Yeah. And it's an opportunity for learning as well, because we would be explaining what we're doing. And after repeating the same thing over and over, well, somehow we get to learn, and we learn by doing. Yeah. If there are questions, they will be answered to the best of our ability. After the meeting, we'll send the recordings. And that's an opportunity for you to learn again. And as we were saying, there will be free videos in the WhatsApp group, the online modules and support. Webinars could be accessed via the tools. And as I said before, you can subscribe to the tools, which is so cheap compared to you doing this thing by yourself. Yeah, to buy the tools by yourself. The investment. There's a minimum, as we established. It's each club or consortium establishes what the minimum is. In the case of consortiums, there's no maximum whatsoever. It could be whatever you want to invest. The frequency is whatever you want as well, provided that you cover the minimum. And the currency, it could be in different currencies. I'm thinking of a consortium that we have with 5 different currencies. So currency is not a problem. Some people prefer, maybe they start with a consortium and they then say, okay, I have a lump sum somewhere and I want to open an account for myself of just one person, right? Or it could be one person, one individual, and it could be a company account. Yeah. The minimum investment should be 100,000, and we would put a team of people to work with you and the 100,000 minimum account. Okay, to work directly with Owen and with myself, it's going to be higher. It's going to be 1 million because we have many accounts already. However, it doesn't have to be 1 million to begin with. It could say, listen, I'm going to build my account 1 million because I want to work with you and I want to work with Owen, but I'm going to build that amount up within a certain time frame. Everything can be discussed. Yeah, the 100, it could be immediate. But also, again, you can say, okay, I'm starting with 50 and I'm going to increase it over this number of months. Everything can be discussed. Yeah. The relationship with you in this case is going to be for the lifetime of the account. We will meet with you with whatever frequency we establish, and we would have calls with you. Let's do a little bit of recap because I know that it's been a ton of information here. The 4x4 system is low risk because we invest in companies of high quality when they are at a low price. Profit that we get, you've seen it, you've seen the results there. They're published in our website. You can go there. It doesn't take much time because the meetings are once a month for an hour. The investment is very flexible, so it's for every pocket. And you can learn if you want to. We encourage you to learn. Now, to finish, what's the next step? Well, in the case of the Spiritual Millionaire, the next step is to contact Aaron and Amy. The details here are for Aaron. The email is that one, info@aaronteamsofficial.com. You can start your journey today. Contact them by email or on the phone, and then start planning the kind of life that you want to have. Hold that vision in your mind. You need to have a big why to do this. In our case, Owen and I, we love traveling and we just do it. Thank you very much.
Beautiful. Thank you, Anna. That was very, very insightful.
Thank you very much.
Is it okay to ask a few questions?
Please go ahead.
A few questions that came up for me. One is, what is the SIBO? Can you give us a quick overview of what that is?
Chicago Board of Options Exchange. So it's another exchange. It's in Chicago. Every year, except for COVID, we go to the US and we visit certain venues. One is the NASDAQ, one is the SIBO. We go to the New York Stock Exchange. We go to see our broker, Planet Securities. We go to the AGM, Berkshire Hathaway AGM. We go to visit Value Line as well. So SIBO is one of these venues where you can see people like in movies, they're all moving like crazy and doing these things and buying and selling, but mostly now it's done on screens. So it's less romantic, but it's still there.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. One of the questions that I know will come up, I understand this mostly now because you've taught me, but a lot of people will ask, what are options? What does getting rent for shares mean? Can you give us a very brief and quick overview of what that is?
One example that I remember giving you and Amy is about bananas, right?
Yep,
So
I remember.
anyone can imagine a bunch of bananas in their hands. So you have a bunch of bananas there that you have bought, they're yours. And then your neighbor comes over and says, I want your bananas. Will you sell them to me? And you said, well, I'm going to keep them here, but I let you buy them off me next month. And in the meantime, I'll keep them here to make sure that no monkey and nobody eats these bananas. So next month you can come here and buy them off me. So that's a call option. Yeah. The thing is, we bought the bananas for 4, so to speak, and we tell our neighbor, you can buy them off me at 5, but next month. And he's okay. Somehow he's okay with that. Why is that? Because right now he doesn't have the money to pay 5. So you said, yeah, I'll keep the bananas, I'll hold them for you, and make sure nobody eats them. But for keeping them and minding them, you're going to give me something. So the neighbor said, okay, I'm going to give you 50 cents. Are you okay with that, neighbor? And you'd say, fantastic. I mind the bananas. You give me 50 cents. I bought them for 4. So I'm making half a dollar already on my 4 investment. And my neighbor can come next month and buy them off me at 5. So I'll make $1 more on top of the half a dollar that he's already given me. Right? So next month, the neighbor appears at your doorstep and says, I've been thinking about it. I have the money. Here's your 5. Give me your bananas. And you have to give them to them. You cannot say, I'm keeping them forever and ever. No. You stroke a deal and you say, here's your bananas. However, you've made $1 because you're selling them for 5. You bought them for 4, plus the half a dollar that the neighbor gave you. Is that clear?
Excellent. Yeah. So they're effectively paying you partly for time, and they're paying you for security as well.
Yeah, they are paying you for time. I won't go into more details of what happens with the bananas and the price of the market, because just get that idea. I think that's enough for the moment.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
Sorry, and the opposite could be the put option.
Yeah.
So the put option is, now you don't have bananas. You go to the market and you say, we can do pineapples now. You don't have pineapples. You go to the market and you see these beautiful pineapples there, yeah, at the marketplace. And you say, oh my gosh, I'd love to have those pineapples now. But what's the price? 6. Well, I could buy them for 6. However, I'm going to tell the person selling them, listen, I will buy them off you at 6, but not today, in a month's time. And then the seller says, yeah, for that, I'm going to give you $1. You say, happy days. So you go back home with $1 and no pineapples. The other guy has the pineapples. And then in 1 month's time again, he might come to your door and say, hey, here's the pineapples. Give me the $6. You already got one. So you're only paying $5, right? And you would say, why would somebody do that? Well, because the seller might think, if in the market the price goes down, I can sell these pineapples to this poor bastard for more than they are paying for them now in the market. But you were happy to buy them at 6 anyway. You wanted the pineapples. You know that the price is going to go down and up and up and down. So that's fine. And if the seller doesn't come to your doorstep after 1 month, you get to keep the $1.
So effectively, what you're saying is then the seller is paying you $1 because you're promised to buy them. So you're obliged to buy them. So he's buying security.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes, it's an insurance
It's an insurance.
for him. But we wanted the pineapples anyway. So if they go down, what do? We wait because they're going to go up anytime.
Excellent. So basically what we're saying is we're accumulating cheap asset.
Yeah, there are more strategies there and more stuff and leads. We're not going to do into that. Just keep the concept of the bananas and the pineapples.
Absolutely. So the concept is basically rather than pay what the market value is, you're getting paid to buy them cheaper. Is that what you're saying? That's the concept.
Exactly. We can buy stuff here, but by going to the market and get these contracts up front, we're effectively buying down below.
Yeah.
But when we have an asset and it has this value, we're going out there and selling it at a higher value.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay. I think that's it. Yeah.
Excellent.
Simple.
Simple.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
So looking forward to having you all in this wonderful consortium that already is Aaron's and Amy's idea of creating Spiritual Millionaire. Thank you very much.
Thank you.